Guys, this is massive news. So with the addition of Megami, a lot of people were worried, like, are they even going to do Yuta now? Should I spend on Megami? Should I save? Is Yuta still coming out? Is he like a limited character because of IP? Are we not able to get him because he's a movie character? Like, a lot of people were freaking out, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, Yuta is coming. It is officially confirmed in the global version, and I'm going to show you guys how I know, and then I want to talk about like the upcoming banners and when you can expect him to release. So if you go into your profile, you will see that there is new stuff in the edit your title tag. So if you go in here and you take a look at your titles, you have all of these locked titles that you can unlock, right? So I've already unlocked a couple of them. I will probably do a video in the future on how to unlock all of these. If you guys are interested, just let me know down in the comments. But I've already done a video on the secret titles here and how to unlock every single secret title that is currently in the game for global. More will come out in the future. But the thing that's really important about this tab when it comes to Yuta is if you look right here, Kaito Yuki and Curse Technique Boost were the last two titles right before the Megami update. Now with the addition of the Megami update, we also have some new titles, but these titles are currently unobtainable on the global version of the game. So those titles include Stubborn Jujutsu Sorcerer, Yuta, okay, Yuta's there, Yuta is literally right there, Special Grade Cursed Human, Come Out Rika, Suguru Geto, Curse Spirit Manipulation Technique, and Wicked Curse User. Okay, so this is all very, very hype because Suguru Geto's for sure coming, and Yuta's for sure coming. And if I show you guys the timeline, it's all going to start to make sense, and you guys will start to understand probably when Yuta is expected to come out. This is the JP timeline of events, so we actually have all of these things still going on right now in global. This is the pickup gacha, A Homesick Horizon. We have that going on in game right now, as well as the event that is out with it, the story event. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you will see the additional pickup gacha for Junpei that is currently in the game, as well as the Grand Exorcism battle. Now the thing is, after Junpei, if we're following the JP timeline, that is when we were supposed to get this additional Jujutsu Kaisen 0 login bonus and story. However, that didn't happen, and we actually moved a lot quicker because this was in December when they got stuff after Junpei, right? Like, Junpei lasted for a bit longer and he was his own thing. Here on global, they after Junpei came out, they immediately pushed Megami. So Megami wasn't supposed to come out for, that's 1 banner, 2 banners, 3 banners, 4 banners from now is when Megami was supposed to come out, but he is out right now on global, and he's actually a fairly decent character, right? But because they have switched the order, and because we know those titles are in the game, we can assume that the next banners to come out will be the banners that they have skipped. So Geto is already in there as a title. He will 100% be coming to Jujutsu Kaisen as one of the next 2 banners, and Yuta is already in there as a title. He will 100% be coming to Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade Global as one of the next 2 banners. Now the question is, which one of these is going to be first? In my opinion, this is a guess, but in my opinion, Geto is going to be coming first because they want to bait you into spending your cubes. That way everybody's drained on their cubes for when Yuta comes out, and then everybody's going to have to buy for Yuta. That's the goal, right? That's the goal of any gacha game, is to maximize revenue. That's how they're going to maximize revenue. Also, I've been saying this for a while. I've said it in a couple of videos. It makes more sense to have Yuta come out closer to Christmas or New Year's because that is going to drive revenue, having him be like a hype holiday character, right? That's just going to work really, really well for them. So I want to also talk about with you guys, is it worth biting into the bait, you know, and summoning for Geto, summoning for this Recollection? This is the free-to-play Recollection, but is it worth getting these 2 things or trying to get them if Yuta is going to come right after them, right? That's what we have to think about. I also want to say, like, don't worry about this banner because it's just an SR banner. It'll be out around the same time as Yuta, so don't, like, worry about that one too much. But, like, is it going to be worth it to actually summon for this character? So let's talk about what Geto can do, what this Recollection can do, what Yuta can do, and what this Recollection can do, and where all of these are ranked on the tier list, and hopefully that will give you guys a better idea of what you actually want to do coming up here in the future. So looking at the strongest duo, which is the Recollection on the Geto banner. This Recollection, when ultimate skill is activated, increases own Jujutsu damage by 60%. That's pretty good. Sounds similar to, you know, another Recollection in global right now that is called non-standard, which is insanely good and everybody wants it. Now, if you limit break it to level 1, at the start of battle, increases own ultimate skill gauge charge rate by 20% for 3 turns. That's really good as well. If you limit break it to level 3, 65% Jujutsu damage. So a very good Recollection in my opinion. Now, if we compare that to the Recollection that comes out for Yuta, let me show you guys that if I can find it. There it is. Winter New Step. So this Recollection, when command skill or ultimate skill are activated, increases own taijutsu damage by 30% and increases own jujutsu damage by 30%. Like, that's not as high of a percentage, but it does cover both of your bases with taijutsu and jujutsu, which is okay. And then if you limit break it, if own HP is 40% or below, recovers own HP by 20%. This is specifically designed for Yuta because Yuta can't heal himself, but he can heal allies. So if you can heal himself during battle automatically when his HP drops below 40%, that's really good. It is only a one-time use though, so keep that in mind. And if you limit break it to level 3, it becomes 35% damage for taijutsu and jujutsu. Now, in terms of ranking for these two Recollections, for the strongest duo and for Winter New Step, technically the general pool banner, the strongest duo, is higher on the tier list. Okay, so if I show you the tier list here, I will show you that right here is the strongest duo in S+ tier. There's only one tier above that, which is SS. These are all the best Recollections in the game. So being in the second tier down, I would say this Recollection is actually very good and almost worth summoning for because of what it does. It's like, you know, similar to non-standard, a very good Recollection. Now, the Yuta banner Recollection is only S tier. It's 3 tiers down. Now, not to say that it's bad, but it's also on the same tier as this free-to-play Recollection that people are getting right now with Gojo, and a lot of other like free-to-play Recollections. There's quite a few in here. Like, there's a rare right here, right? So the fact that it's all the way down here is not the greatest, but keep in mind, there's a lot of tiers below that with a lot of other Recollections below it. So it's still above a lot of Recollections. It's not bad, but technically the strongest duo is the Recollection to go for because it is going to be far better than Winter New Step, which is the Yuta banner Recollection. Now, the catch is that everything on Yuta's banner, the Recollection and Yuta himself, are limited. So if you don't pull them, they will not get added to a general pool banner later. At least as of yet, they haven't been added to a general pool banner on JP. However, everything on the Geto banner, including the Recollection and the character, will be added to a general pool banner later. So you will be able to pull them in the future if you don't pull them now. So if Geto does end up coming out before Yuta, if you're free to play, you should absolutely be skipping. Even though the Recollection is technically better on this banner than on Yuta's banner, you should still be skipping. Unless you really like Geto as a free-to-play player. Now, as a light spender, you might want to toss a few summons. As a whale, you know, whales will do what they do. But let's talk about what Geto can do, and let's talk about what Yuta can do, and then I'll show you guys where they are placed on the tier list, respectively, for each of them. So, Geto, characteristic, at the start of each turn, recovers own cursed energy by 20. That's actually really good. That allows him to use his skills as he wants, essentially. Skill 1, special grade cursed tool, Playful Cloud, deals 120.1% melee taijutsu damage to the selected enemy. The higher your own cursed energy is, the greater the critical hit rate boost. So if you're able to actually save up your cursed energy, you'll get a higher crit rate on this skill. Skill 2, Cursed Spirit Manipulation, deals 181.5% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy for 3 hits. If own cursed energy is 30 or above, decreases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage by 25%. If own cursed energy is 40 or above, increases the selected enemy's jujutsu damage received by 25%. So like, these buffs are good, but they also require like certain stipulations, which makes it a little bit harder to use the character, so just keep that in mind. But honestly, it's not hard to get cursed energy up on a character if you're running the right characters with him. That's the biggest problem with Geto here though, is that you need to run like kind of specific characters with him to make him as useful as you want him to be. And then his skill 3, Cursed Manipulation, deals 70% ranged jujutsu damage to all enemies. This AoE skill is actually very good, and with a cost of 30 cursed energy, that's not too crazy. Like, it could be worse, it could be 40. The higher the own cursed energy is, the greater the damage boost. And then for the ultimate, Cursed Spirit Manipulation Maximum Uzumaki. Deals 200% range jujutsu damage to all enemies, so 2 AoEs on the character. That automatically makes him somewhat decent, right? And then the higher your own cursed energy is, the greater the damage boost. Reduces own cursed energy to 0 when your ultimate skill is performed. Now for auto skills, Absorption when defeating an enemy recovers own cursed energy by 10. The more enemies defeated at once, the greater the cursed energy recovery, which is interesting because that means if you finish people off with a skill 3, that's going to be like your bread and butter. You're going to be able to increase your cursed energy, and you're going to be able to do more damage. It's very, very interesting the way this character works. He is actually fairly decent. Now I'm going to talk about Yuta, and if you have seen previous videos of mine on Yuta, or anyone's really, and you already know about Yuta's kit, feel free to skip Yuta's kit to where I talk about where they are placed in the tier list. But as for Yuta, Yuta is a insanely good character. He does a little bit of everything, and that's what I love about him. So when Black Flash is performed, increases own Black Flash rate for 3 turns. That's automatically really good. And then skill 1, focus your cursed energy, deals 120% melee taijutsu damage to the selected enemy. And then skill 2, Cursed Speech, deals 90% jujutsu damage to all enemies, decreases all enemies' critical hit resist by 15%, depending on own jujutsu and enemies' remaining HP, instantly kill the enemy. So he reduces crit resist, he has an AoE, and he can instantly kill enemies on skill 2. You cannot tell me that is not busted. And then skill 3, let's do this together, Rika, deals combined damage equal to 80% taijutsu, 110% jujutsu, 100% taijutsu, and 150% jujutsu to the selected enemy for 4 hits. This skill is actually really strong and can hit really hard. Rika goes crazy. Then the ultimate, it's Pure Love. Deals 1000% ranged jujutsu damage to all enemies. That's at level 1, by the way. At level 10, it goes up to 1,999,000 damage. So, yep, a little bit crazy. AoE, very similar to Gojo, just does a massive nuking damage. Increases own taijutsu damage by 20% for 4 turns. Increases own jujutsu damage by 20% for 4 turns. And the downside is he is unable to fill his own ultimate gauge for 4 turns as well. But still, like, after you use his ultimate, his other skills are going to pop off. Yuta is insane, man. He buffs himself, he debuffs enemies, he has AoEs, just really, really good. But that wasn't enough for them. They had to add more to him. So his auto skills, I won't let you die. At the start of each turn, if an ally's HP is 60% or below and own cursed energy is 10 or above, recovers all allies' HP by 25%, decreases own cursed energy by 10, increases own taijutsu damage by 10%, jujutsu damage by 10%, and fills own ultimate skill gauge by 200 up to 3 times during battle. So yeah, he gets his ult back faster, he has extra damage, and he heals allies. That passive is insane. And then last but not least, his other passive, which is a counter, Don't Bully Yuta. When targeted by an enemy's melee attack, certain chance to deal 120% melee jujutsu damage to the enemy. So not only does he like protect himself similar to how Gojo would protect himself, he also gets to counterattack and hurt the enemy similar to Todo. But Todo has to have an enemy attacking an ally. If an enemy attacks Yuta, Yuta can counter him by himself and protect himself if it's a melee attack, which makes Yuta absolutely insane. There's just so much going on in Yuta's kit that is usable in so many different stages. It just makes him so versatile. That's what makes Yuta such a great character. Now, where does he place on the tier list compared to Geto? Let me show you guys where he compares to Geto. So if we go to the tier list here, Yuta is double S tier. This is the JP tier list. I always try to show the JP tier list because I think it is the most accurate tier list. That's why I always show you guys this one and not the other one from the wiki. There is one on the wiki. It's okay. I don't think it's as good as this one for anyone that questions why I show you guys this tier list. So here's Yuta. And if we scroll down, yes, we do have to scroll. So Geto is not in double S. He's not in S+, but he is in S. Geto is an S tier. So he is actually decent, right? If you've used Nobara, you know Nobara right now on global is actually pretty dang good. So Geto being an S tier means that he's fairly decent, but at the same time, Junpei's up here in S tier, and Junpei is not my favorite character. So, I mean, make your own deductions about this character, but realistically, if Geto does come out before Yuta, I wouldn't recommend summoning on it. Like Megumi had his uses, right? Megumi is an S+. I could justify summoning for Megumi. I could absolutely justify that because he's such a good character. Geto, on the other hand, it's a little bit harder to justify wasting your cubes, especially if we know for sure that Yuta is going to be coming out sometime next month. I wouldn't do it. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. Are you going to, if Geto comes out first, summon for Geto? Or are you now all in to save for Yuta? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate your guys' help. Thanks so much. Peace.